B-Dog, in every other respect, has been certainly stepping up lately in the role of duelist, and that remains to be seen basically only on this map. He's you know, had to take on a little more responsibility outside of the flex role with this slight shift in the roster, and with it, YFP actually, in a way, has sort of found a better version of the rhythm that they had in the previous stage, where everyone is, you know, so close to each other on such even footing. This is the worst that YFP's top fragger has looked in any stage this season, but also the best that YFP's bot fragger has looked, and that is Thieves doing more than anything else. He's good for his first.
Yep. Even exchange, though, gets us to a 4v4. Infiltrator being down doesn't really hurt the defense too much, especially with this forward play over towards B main. And with a couple of extra trades after the fact, it's looking good for the defense here, which is Stellar and Jake remaining. Jake can try to feel something out over towards mid, but everything is covered right now for Winthrop.
Already pretty far in with Governor so low. YFP does have another way to cut, but it's got to be segmented. Smoke tossed out. So at least you have to throw something in return, but YFP instead just granted this B space and pretty dry 2v4 in the future.
Well, it looks like Stellar's going to be able to get this plant off successfully. That's a nice opportunity to possibly set up the pretense for a 2v4. Got to keep in mind Governor's health pool is a single shot away from also taking this to a 2v3. Exit is most important here for Stellar. He gets back over towards B main. Jake stepping up, good for the first. Almost finds two, and actually will convert just before falling. Gives Stellar a heck of a chance at this, especially considering he's playing from outside the site, and Winthrop are not aware of that. But as they clear quickly, they will have the awareness. Try to double peek this. Looks like one tap through the railing may have come through. Doesn't really do much damage, though, to Ollie. Yeah, and this is just too much pressure. Stellar trying to do what they can, finds the first, forces the gunfight, and almost gets two, but Ollie has that to halfway, and Winthrop takes the pistol.
So many ways that YFP could approach that, but much like every other round that they lose this closely, you can't really criticize how they decided to approach it at the end of the day. Really close, and Jakey deciding to hold on top of that smoke rather than going for that paranoia lineup is ballsy, but in the end of the day, it sets up Stellar better for the 1v2 after they get onto that site. So, again, relying on each other just a little bit heavier, being willing to sort of lean on each other, and Stellar almost pulling that round together after taking multiple cutbacks. But Winthrop, like so many of y'all predicted, other than me, they're steadfast enough. They have enough resources to hold strong.
But it got tight. That's the biggest part about it, and that means that, of course, with the can afford a pretty even purchase here. In round two of the half, Infiltrator has seen a quick rotation in towards mid-market. That's going to force out the defensive Aldron at B. Offensively, there's a bit of a scout out through market as well, but it doesn't really provide too much in terms of actual pressure on the site, largely thanks to spy cam and, of course, the trap right in front. Both will fall, though, as mentioned. So now it's just down to when does YFP want to hit the go call.
Appreciate B-Dog already poking his head out into the back, already conditioning how far YFP can choose to pull this attack. Puts that pressure on Winthrop early.
Well, opening exchange even. To a 3v3 we go. Site, of course, taken. Infiltrator looking to see if maybe he can find something on the exit. Gets eyes onto one and two. Can't find timing to pull the trigger, though. So now it's just down to how do you break into this? And the Judge with the Stinger and the Bulldog. Not easy weapons to break through. And wall, that's just blast. Ollie just spamming through the smoke, finds one. And just when you thought YFP had a perfect post-plant setup, it gets broken apart thanks to Ollie's go shots.
That's one of the only ways that Winthrop could have broken that back. Stellar's knife did a beautiful job of kind of resetting the tempo of that fight, forcing Winthrop to completely reset, but they packed in and then hunkered down on what they knew they could just spray and pray through. At the end of the day, that gun diff can still persist, and you find that opener, you can kind of just barrel through with whatever you've got left. Again, it's close, but Winthrop are able to make mincemeat out of that side a second time in the same round and take that B. Still, you see exactly what YFP is trying to go for. You see how far B-Dog can get in very early on the round, even when they're down economically. So you see, you know, what the game plan is coming in on this attack half. Winthrop, though, you can already see how much delaying they're able to do, how much resetting they're able to do themselves, and at the end of the day, when they retake, they have so much more to offer for the fight.
Ooh. Big reveal there by Governor. And how about this? Wow, B-Dog already in with the Lightspeed. Refracts back as Thief will follow up for another. Again, with the kind of half purchase in round two, this is not a full purchase for YFP, but they're making the most of it, to be fair. Granted, it is just the bonus of Winthrop, but that's just a heck of an entry from B-Dog, and it turns to a quick play on B.
And that's what a lot of these rounds are going to be pretty pivotal on, is how much ground and how many kills B-Dog can get going until YFP are able to actually make headway onto the site. And this time, it's more than enough with that insta-kill on the shotgun, able to nab away that bonus round and shift the momentum finally after so many close shaves. Winthrop University having that ultimate for Glyph here, who is definitely the standout for me so far this stage. I think he has proven himself to be probably the best controller in North American Challengers at the moment.
High praise.
I mean, he's been able to just be just about everywhere at once, especially on this Omen, and he looks to try and cut this fight short early. Again, force YFP to use too much at first and then pile drive when the going gets tough.
Yeah. Weird economical start for this half so far, with the half by even purchase for YFP in round 2 and the closeness of the round. Winthrop actually find themselves in a bit of a save here, but it's working out all right, especially as Governor, wow, little fadeaway double tap. Thief is 1 HP. Recon dart, ooh. We'll get the reveal off in Governor. He wants blood, knows that Thief is low, looking for a secondary tag, but Thief catches him on the corner. As soon as the sound trigger of the Cyber Cage come through, he punishes, and numbers will be there for Winthrop, if only just barely.
And again, YFP, from the doldrums, they're able to completely shift how this round functions, force this dominant engine in Winthrop, force themselves to buckle back. Ollie's already been pressured away. Jakey has this sight to himself, essentially will force Glyph to pay some extra attention. And now with the one-way dropping smoke, he forces it to another 1v1 and Ollie to overcommit, but Ollie will get it done himself and give Winthrop a thrifty round.
What is the start of this map? Oh my goodness. Ollie 5-1, getting it done there with the double shot at the end with the Sheriff, leads to a 3-1 tally, and finally in round 5 we can start to see some normal Valorant, or so we hope, because this is just one of those rounds that, again, you just do not expect at all up your Winthrop. But yeah, a little double dink on the opener through the side of the wall connects. You think that maybe Jake with the entry in is going to be fine, but Ollie with the late peek through door with the smoke covering finds the kills. And even with all that said, YFP still can't pull it forward. So full weapons for Winthrop, but YFP limited on purchase here.
Continuously wounded, walking into the fray, but slowly garnering more, and B-Dog is not going to stop for a second. Already into tree here, so you're able to burn away all these resources, but the deadlock ult in response, YFP just have to press forward anyway. Jakey opening frag, Ollie again gets in front of it, and again gets way more than he needs to. Almost the ace for him.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go here for We Did, but wow. Ollie is on one, and that is not good news for YFP, especially considering that the opening 3-4 rounds was all structured setups to try to flash and dash into B. Ollie has given no wiggle room at all at A. 9-2 start, already halfway back to having another annihilator, for crying out loud. And YFP are going to need to talk for it, I would say rightfully so.
I mean, we're seeing exactly how we expected this, matchup to play out for YFP coming into this, how they attacked it, how we see B-Dog, making these W key approaches and getting a lot of purchase, getting a lot of space, sometimes getting a kill along the way. And even when he doesn't, YFP is able to trade off of him pretty quickly. So at the end of the day, they're doing what needs to be done to get onto the site to get that execution. But Winthrop are doing exactly what everyone is expecting them to do, which is overpower individually anyway. Have one player or have enough players stand in front of the issue when they can, start controlling the fight, and they have enough to just break through every time. And part of it can be, again, Glyph being so conservative with everything other than his smokes until that retake fight. He holds on to both of his TPs and the paranoia so late into rounds, it's insane. And then part of it is how preventative you can be early on with this double sentinel. Can't be ignored. And of course, Ollie, apart from the kills, those sonic sensors are really segmenting these pushes, even though B-Dog is able to generate so much space.
Unreal start. I mean, if this is a sign of what we're going to have to come later on this evening, with not just this matchup, but of course the pivotal one being Qbert and Envy later on the site, well, let's lock in, friends. We're going to have a real fun one in front of us. Full purchase finally, though, underway here for YFP, including a couple of ultimates, close to the Hunter's Fury, but most notably, Null Command, and you have the Virgin Pass ready to go for B-Dog. So Owl Drone to scout things out. Center Drone is here in the way, and Glyph feels the pressure. Double stuns coming through. The dash right beyond it, though, in the glass, and he may not fully be seen. Oh no, the Owl Drone doesn't see him, so now you have the pass to go out. Oh, but it gets done immediately. Infiltrator comes to the play faster than expected, and first blood goes the way of WU.
YFP, again, they have to get on faster than they would have liked to, and they can't clear everything organically, so Moobs gets a free spot in hell, and he's going to keep holding it down. Now YFP need to shuffle in again, force the tempo to shift, and Moobs is unshakable. Winthrop can hold their double vantages and make it 5-1. Now this defense is staunch.
Unbelievable. I mean, that's just so unfortunate, though. I think if you look at it from B-Dog's perspective, like, he's got the convergent path ready to go, and it looks like he's about to just completely clean everything out with a little bit of extra speed, but it's just Infiltrator comes behind the play unexpected. And when you know it, that essentially saves the day. It's been a slow one for Infiltrator, but that pickup is massive, and it puts YFP back onto limited purchase again.
It's so tough because B-Dog has already used his light speed by that point, and the convergent path is such a dead giveaway. Sure, you're clearing the board, but you're also giving away your position immediately. An Infiltrator being on top of that so fast, and again, being a Yoru, you should expect that ubiquity at any moment during these rounds.
For real, yeah.
If YFP can't collapse on that literally instantaneously, and you can expect YFP to do that a lot of the time, it's still so difficult to be able to bring enough of a fight, especially if you get rid of that waylay so quickly. Yeah, I mean, a real shame that B-Dog doesn't get one on top of that ultimate to slow WU down by a hair, but that's the hair that YFP have continuously missed the cut of, and they're now 4 rounds down because of it.
Well, here we go, an opportunity for a paranoia and a peek through the defensive spawn. We're also spamming things out, and yep, there's just nowhere that YFP can go. Firing range has opened.
One enemy remaining.
Dead. Jake's trying to get cheeky with the teleport, not gonna work, and Winthrop will only drop 1 as they find their 6th round. And I think the thing about, like, these first 7 rounds, like, if we were to be real about this, YFP has had 1 real offensive round with weapons. So it's like, because of the nature of how round 2, 3, and 4 went with the half purchase in 2, the combat against the bonus in 3, and then you still can't full afford in round 4. They really have only had 1 full purchase round.
Yeah.
It's so tough to look at a half of Valorant to play your offense through 7 rounds.
Yeah, so true. Clawing at air, and because of how gutsy they are, because of how much distance they're able to make each time, they still have these kinds of, you know, worse off guns. I feel like the mentality gets a little bit toxicized because of it. Like, hey, we can totally, like, we can execute this. We can force buy this next round and actually make it happen and really throw this game on its head.
Be right back.
And it's just, it's gone awry too many times.
I'll reveal at middle. I was about to say, has Infiltrator pushed back, but the unexpected follow-up from Governor still finds first blood and largely shuts down the play through mid. I say that with some hesitation because obviously they smoke it and push it out, but Governor's going to have a really good idea that this could possibly be the play. You also have a gate crash. The Infiltrator can come back to this really quickly if needed, and that's indeed the case. Just comes down to, can Moops find the opener? Governor moves his crossfire setup, and yeah, now you got the dimensional drift into play, but Weeded finds a couple, forces Infiltrator to hit a shot, and he will whip it. So good follow-up here for YFP into the 3v2.
Seems like they're trying to condition WU cornering themselves until YFP can util dump on the fight, and they eventually are able to do that for the B site. But again, here comes WU with the reset for the B. This is where they're strongest.
Paranoia cutting across the site will affect 1. Spam from Glyph is decent. Has Weeded low, and Ollie finds another double on the crossfire setup. Nowhere for Glyph to go, and no help required. Ollie is on a rampage. Unbelievable start, and another round that YFP look at and say, could we catch a freaking break?
It's starting to become a bit too normal that Ali has a life game for Winthrop here in the Swiss stage. Started to see a couple of suspiciously long pop-offs from this guy that, as the desk, again, so wonderfully put, has just been able to kind of do whatever you need him to. One of the best flexes we've ever seen in this region. And filling on the team that, again, he was previously just coaching. It's such a fun story. That's you love to see top fragging at the moment.
Well, first blood this time goes to Infiltrator. That was, it looks to be around mid-map over towards B connector. Midi-map was down. Sorry about that, friends. Aldrone still trying to force the issue over towards tree, though. Ollie's playing through A main, and it's Glyph who's watching the close corner as the sensor gets destroyed and replaced by a barrier. And that will be instantly deleted, but again, this angle is just a little bit too free for Glyph, although he kind of steps out and puts himself into the realm of tradability. That doesn't make a difference because Ollie's still right there behind him. So 8-1 the count, and again, it's just smooth sailing right now for Winthrop.
That was probably the most trivial round so far out of the game. Just a one telegraph push that Winthrop kind of just get to pull a little PowerPoint presentation on how they're able to stop YFP in the long run on rounds like this. Just the instantaneous delay when they hear them knocking on the door and then packing up for the fight. I mean, you saw them ready before the fight even started, before they could, throw that barrier mesh down. WU, they have enough time to start and end the fight whenever they wish to. YFP, the tempo control has not gone nearly as far as they'd like to with this attack.
This could lead to a very quick and very fast half here. Good first blood for Steve, has the neural theft to follow up to get some information on the setup, and this has got to be one of those let's stay away from Ali rounds. Infiltrator gate crashes back to safety, has an opportunity to try to step up over towards B main, but Fragment and a knife will keep that angle safe. But meanwhile, this feels a little too slow for YFP. I mean, a little bit of spam shots here and there, but the defense is rotating over pretty quickly now.
And once again, they're able to read this pretty early on, and yeah, I mean, you just have too much to offer. YFP do manage to cut them off the pass here, and can again reinitiate from the middle, sink their teeth back into the round, exude some control. I mean, it's so artificial though.
Yeah. It's just, that's too slow for Winthrop, or probably for YFP in my mind. Winthrop just, as soon as the neural theft comes through and you start to see the smokes being placed, they're instantly rotating back through mid.
Spike planted.
But opportunity for Jake in the 1v2. Neural theft will be called. Annihilation feels like a bit of overkill.
You're damn right it is.
But who cares? Who cares? 9-1.
And again, I mean, it feels like Winthrop are real puppet masters for this defense so far, kind of keeping YFP on a bit of a leash whenever they enter that site. We saw that one round where they were kind of able to bully their way through mid and actually pinch that B site and win a team fight. And even then, that was a round that YFP ended up losing, but still, since then, Winthrop have been far faster to when the first fight starts and far more dominant in that first fight as well. They don't want to give YFP a prayer these last two rounds.
No, and why would you? Well, here we go. Quick fireworks once again. Governor with the final first blood. Hunter's Fury trying to counter for We Did, and it will work out for one, but Moog says a lot of utility still in place, including a trap on site. Glyph will teleport back to Arches, and he's got a paranoid to try to give himself a little bit of space and freedom to isolate this as best as he possibly can. Here's the footsteps, but Jake with the Guardian taps away. Infiltrator only finding one before falling has YFP in a relatively comfortable spot on the post plant.
YFP just barely won that first foot race, but again, Winthrop are right here already.
One enemy remaining.
Well, opening trade comes through. Thief able to finish things off before we get a little bit too mixy. And finally, YFP see an offensive round get past the finish line.
I didn't even call that round disrespectful from Winthrop University, but it was certainly a little more forward. Infiltrator going for that uphold, and then Governor with that cover fire. Infiltrator actually did manage to get out, so Governor got that free first blood. But after that, YFP, again, same as every time they've seen that Yoru TP, they try and, twist a knife right into the spot where Infiltrator just left, because they know at the very least that that one spot is unoccupied. And from there, they'll do what they can do. This time it was enough, and Winthrop in response, they'll just press their foot even further on the gas.
No command to get things started. B main under some subjective question. And yeah, again, this is one of those that you look at and say, did this really accomplish much? Moves up top, still in a comfortable spot, has Glyph on his cross. Ollie is the only thing not here at the moment. The paranoia gives Glyph a chance just to fight by himself inside the site. First blood tally. Follow-up from Infiltrator is good. And I'm not gonna lie, this is just not deceiving enough for YFP. We're forcing out the paths. B-Dog trying to work his way in, is able to catch one, but how do you move from here is a different story. Able to refract back to safety, as Ollie says, not so fast, and the grab net gets placed, and the rest of Winthrop will just force it down his throat. No worries, no problems.
Just felt very strange. I'm not sure what YFP's full intentions were on that, because as soon as they use the null command, they already start W-keying back towards T-spawn. But even if they weren't going to do that, YFP was going to start backing out anyway and just hand the site over. They don't want to fight that until after the null commands expire regardless. So they just assume that free space is going to be taken. So even if you are going to bluff on that, I feel like you do it a little more convincingly by like maybe implanting someone, making a little more noise on top of it, leaving the KO there a little longer, because Spike isn't there. But instead, Winthrop, they sit in the waiting room of a lobby for the Spike to just come over the second that ultimate is popped, and then it's expired by the time anything starts.
Exactly.
YFP have already rotated back because, duh, what else are they going to do at this point? And then they shred.
Yeah, dude. This is going to be, that first half could literally just be categorized by YFP was not allowed to play offense until the last 5 rounds of the half, and they only got 2 full purchases in those halves. And to be fair, again, I think some of their calls were just not well executed on, like that null command being part of it, but the convergent pass that same round, again, not looking all that great either. Just a bit odd. Good stun there will slow things down just a touch. Stellar gets the read that Infiltrator had still been playing in the corner. B-Dog follows up with some shots in the smoke, and okay, here we go. Pistol looking good for YFP.
Saturate doing a great job of playing preventative and keeping Winthrop from being able to push his one unit, so they're fully slowed down here, and the smoke being finally set up here by Jakey allows them to just spray their way through and keep the little ground that Infiltrator managed to gain here on Winthrop's push, which is very one and done. So YFP have every intention of making their defense just as dominant as Winthrop's. The Yoru can be a thorn in the side, but again, can meet the same problems that Waylay did.
Yeah, for sure. And to be honest, this pistol's not done yet. Jake on the corner. Oh, nice little fadeaway headshot. Connects Governor trying to force to find the trade. Not going to happen. And so all is on Ali, who does not have the health pool to do any heroics this time around. Okay, flawless round for YFP. The pistol should lead to a hopefully convincing bonus for them too.
Yeah, this is a fantastic start. Played it exactly the way that they needed to, and yeah, Infiltrator is definitely going to be enemy number 1 for this half. He's going to be the one that is going to have to crack this, one of these sites in 2 at some point in the round for Winthrop, and he's only got to do it thrice, really, in order for this map to be done and dusted. So YFP, they have to be, again, very quick to the issue. The Cypher util has to do a lot of good slow down work, and yeah, you just got to be very responsive.
Yeah. Well, opening contact for B-Dog, good. Connects for first blood. Follow-up is, again, trying to be worked around a little bit here as Ali forces another jump peek, but B-Dog will not miss. So that should pretty much be about the end of this round for Winthrop. Not able to get the B-main control, has them pretty much working right into the Cypher setup.
Yeah, just applying that pressure early on the one side will kite them over to the more dangerous one early on. Great way to play this anti-eco and force Winthrop to fall into multiple chains of attack to prevent yourself from losing guns along the way. B-Dog's going to be able to hold on this outlaw, stay nice and safe. Jakey's the only one that's going to fall, and he'll get one on the way down. So even this ult economy is looking really decent early into the half for YFP. So, I mean, everything you could have asked for these opening 2 rounds on the defense, yeah, YFP definitely got. So, I mean, this is going to be the real litmus going forward, obviously, on this bonus, just trying to cut as much short from the team as possible. This is when Winthrop is going to be, some of their fastest going to try and throw them off, and if they know that they have a mild personnel advantage pushing into a site, they're going to be so quick with the exec.
Okay, see if there's going to be some sort of response here from Winthrop. Looking at the bonus of YFP, very formidable. Guardians still have the Outlaw, and then a couple of extra cheeky weapons, most notably Thief on the Judge, holding a corner at B main. But on the other front, Of course, full rifles in play, plus for the most part, full armors after moves had already been tagged just a touch. And this looks to be, with 60 seconds on the clock, some sort of a crunch through mid to B if they decide to commit to this.
See, the only one in any really vulnerable position right now is Thief. Everyone else able to easily back out. Everyone who doesn't have a shotgun able to play for a secondary fight if necessary. YFP willing to stretch this out, and they're showing that on the macro really well. That Knife doing a great job of, again, playing for that slowdown, but the trapwire already destroyed. Winthrop can still kind of play with this mid.
Yeah, and I think Boobs is happy to let himself be revealed right there. The follow from Governor takes advantage. B-Dog could not get his feet planted with the Outlaw. A little bit of damage onto Jake, and then finished by Glyph. Has Stellar by himself, and he may just back away. You know, Boobs is watching the cross, though. You revealed him after all. Just cannot deal with it. And this Winthrop team is just looking real clean. Absolute perfection coming through here for Winthrop, as Stellar will try to survive into the next round.
Love whenever Winthrop decide to just insert moves and let him be the raid boss that he wants to be on this Sentinel role, doing a great job of just completely cutting this map in half, making the retake a complete impossibility after the few whiffs that YFP had on the A site to start with. Very few opportunities that the team had to be able to save any face at all, really, this round, but the fact that they don't get rid of a single gun makes Winthrop very well set up to scrape 2 more here in regulation on the attack. Everyone is still performing at peak and doing the same sorts of things that YFP wanted to do with their tempo control, diving on top of Infiltrator's pushes, whether he gets a kill or not, and you know, making a mockery out of a site in the opening and just trying to hold on to as much as possible for the post point.
Wow. This has been a convincing map of Valorant. That's about all you can say at the point. Yeah. Well, whoa, that's a angle right there, following the dart. 2 agents will be suppressed by the knife on the other side. So not a lot gained, not a lot lost for really either team. Your will be collected here for Winthrop, which will have Governor on the Hunter's Fury, which is important. This comes down to, as the spike carrier, does he actually want to commit to this on the initial, or are we going to try to use this for post plant? May depend on what he sees with the Aldrone here.
Feels like Jakey's quite vulnerable. He's going to have to try and fight this, but a Hunter's Fury to cut the board down. He's got to just think on his feet. Infiltrator is going to find him really early on. Winthrop already have this A site, and B-Dog, again, on this operator, he's really stuck until he makes sure that mid is fully cleared.
Not going to have time to do that, though. That's the issue. So you look towards Bleeded and Thief. Barrier mesh out, instantly destroyed. Shock darts being held by Governor. B-Dog does connect on the cross through tree, which is important. Stops at least one member from being able to exit out, but Moobs is still very comfortable in this position towards main. Thief trying to find some timing, catches the head of one. Governor getting a little antsy the backside of sight. Now it's down to the timing of this double peek with the Shorty and the Phantom over through tree. There's the orb. Glyph going to be revealed by this, and YFP going to find the kills in perfect succession of one another. So great retake from YFP. They'll get their 5th.
That was really fantastic patience coming from all 3 members of that retake from YFP. Perfect double swing off of the execution, but yeah, really Thief again, stepping up on these lurks and walking into these peaks with a lot less fear than you've seen him before. Again, he is really stepped up when it comes to this 5th man role, and it's meant a lot to the rhythm of YFP, the identity that YFP has tried to have as a team for, honestly, the past 2 years of Challengers at this point. The funny thing is, it's almost like they have to find a whole new ceiling all over again, despite changing so little about their roster, despite changing so little about, you know, how they operate as a team as a whole. It feels like they're entering a whole new arc, like they got retconned.
Here.
Well, a bit of patience here in round 17, an important one, you would think, especially with Winthrop economically with their backs up against the wall here off this full purchase. It would give a lifeline to YFP on this comeback effort.
Don't miss me too much.
If they were to force some sort of a return of investment. Aldrone will already put the light speed into play. Moob's almost able to find a connection at mid, but instead we'll just collect the orb and get out of there.
Already you see YFP understanding that the B pinch is more likely from how much space Winthrop has gained in mid and how likely they are to want to hold on to it and try to convert it into something. But B-Dog, this is risky business trying to crosswalk here. Lights are spotted, so already you shift course and have to force yourself to double check this.
Well, there's the secondary reveal left.
30 seconds left.
Coming out. B-Dog is going to hold inside the dark cover. Winthrop have gained some pretty good significance around the site. Thief trying to feel it out. Actually catches a bit of timing. Not able to get away, but the neural theft will come through. That will now give the go call for Winthrop for how they want to break this site down. Weeded affected by the paranoia, and that will be enough for Governor to find the easy finish. Plus Winthrop, of course, with the information on where the rest of the defense are. Lock down the cross and put themselves quickly on a map point.
Yeah, very quickly able to collapse on that when they find the opportunity. Exactly how you want to see that happen. An unfortunate kind of way that things shuffled out, but again, you have enough resources to just kind of make it work that time around on top of the lane trade. You turn that into the Cypher ulti, you have to reset the mid fight, so you can only come from the back hall, and at that point, you have to choose, you know, do we activate this pressure point now when we can maybe get a shred of the site, or do we activate after all of this setup from Winthrop can come through, after, you know, Ollie and Moves get all of this util down, and YFP, you know, they go with what they think, and what was probably the easier option, but they got 7 rounds of game point to play against B-Dog again, getting in on top of this early, and now they're going to double down on this B main pressure.
GravNet out, barrier mesh behind that. Oh boy, this could be tough. Sensors are going to be destroyed, and YFP just hold their ground somewhat forcibly. That works out for an opening that will look really good for YFP, especially if the defense here can just stall a little while longer while those recovered weapons make their way over on the rotation.
Ready, they're going to try and get this done quickly before YFP can respond with a decent amount of personnel. They want to still hold on to this site advantage, keep that space active, and Glyph again getting on top of his own smoke is able to make that space. 50 seconds to go in a convergent paths. Now both slowed down. YFP, they find the need to re-clear, but the TP coming out from Glyph resets the fight again, and Governor is able to stay hidden.
Yeah, Governor has him in the corner, knows that he's playing off that angle. Also see the shoulder of Weeded. Glyph finds the first. They know where the other is. This comes down to, can you save the day if you're B-Dog? He's already gotten 3. As he takes down Glyph, there's the double swing. Oh my goodness! It's not perfectly timed, and Governor clutches the 1v2 for a quick map 1 win.
The last 2 players standing on the field, the 2 new members of Winthrop University, holding it down. A tier 1 superstar making his